Now, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would want to know whether I'm audible. I would want to know whether I'm audible, very audible. From my side, I'm able to see I'm very, very audible, yes. Now then, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Joshua Aura. I'm currently, of course, the principal at RCM College. I'm also the managing partner at Aura and Company, a firm of certified public accountants. Why are we here today? Of course, we know that there is a disruption in the industry. Whenever there is disruption in the industry, we need to be aligned. It's called strategic alignment. Not forgetting to mention the case of Kodak. I always keep on using this example severally until it gets into our minds. Remember Kodak, ladies and gentlemen, these are those people, if you remember them, they used to come with the old cameras on Sundays to our homes. They used to take us very good photos, which they were not producing instantaneously. They were taking us photos, and then, of course, they go to do what they used to call wash. So they go out there for a week or even 2 weeks. And then thereafter, they bring us the photos, and they were really, really good. So in this case here, there came a disruptive technology, the mobile phone photography. Now, this was really a big disruption because now with the Samsungs those days, somebody could just come like a lady. In this case here, they pose, they take very good photos, and then, of course, those photos, they were able to upload them in their social media handles immediately. That was a game changer. And the Kodak kept on saying that, you know what? I mean, this thing will not materialize. This thing will not be able to beat us. Within a span of less than a year, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, Kodak could not even be able to pay the employee salaries. Kodak, in this case here, management was able to organize a big press release where they say that, you know what? Do you know why we are finding ourselves in this situation? It's because of what we call strategic drift. We drifted. The market wanted us to go this way, but as we remained with our traditions. The same happened with IBM as well, drifted. Remember, IBM is the one that came up with what we call the computer frame. If you remember that frame, it used to be a big computer being put in offices. They are very big, all right? Now, when people came up with what we call pocket computers or laptops, all right? At computer, you would simply put on your laps, and then you work. The IBM CEO was saying that people will not like those laptops. People will not want, in this case here, something they can be walking around with. They stuck with the mainframes. As we speak, where is IBM? It's nowhere where it was supposed to be today. By today, it would be a behemoth, a big thing of a company. But because in this case here, they chose to stay with their traditions. They never chose to innovate. The technology was able to overtake them, and as such, they drifted to death. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, there is quite a big disruption, not in the accountancy world alone. There is a disruption coming in the name of artificial intelligence, where we have now machines, computers that are able to think like human beings. They're quite intelligent. Remember, it's not intelligence, they can't match us 100%, but trust you me, these things are being improved at some speed, which is so high. If you look at ChatGPT, 3 months ago, ChatGPT was, something that at times you could just put in something like this, and it was doing, very little. But today, 3 months down the line, ladies and gentlemen, this ChatGPT is able, you can give it a proposal, and it does for you a very, very good proposal within no time. You can give it, in this case, an accounting equation. Give it something, and it's able to produce whatever you want. Give it a quadratic equation, ChatGPT. Now, these guys here will come up with something which may not be very intelligent at the very beginning, but with the time, they are able to refine these technologies to a level now where they are able to match what here? A human being. A human being. Okay, great. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, we need to wake up, smell the coffee, and shine with this technology. We can't fight technology. And now that lays the foundation for for my today's speech, which basically is about what do we need to do to become work ready. What do we need to do to become work ready? So to become work ready, according to ACCA, they have what we call technical quotients. Technical quotients. The skills and abilities to perform activities consistently to a defined standard while maintaining the highest standards of integrity, independence, and skepticism. Which are these technical quotients they're talking about? Number one, we have a creative quotient. If you're not creative, ladies and gentlemen, then automatically you shall be drifting out of employment or out of even business. The ability to use existing knowledge in a new situation, to make connections, explore potential outcomes, and generate new ideas. Now that these routine things will be taken over by machines, these things of data entry are now being taken over. The simple processing is being taken over. Then you as a CFO, you as an accountant, for you to be able to add value, you need to be a person who can create new ideas, a person in this case here who can, use, in this case here, the network that they have to even grow businesses. We have to be creative. Then we have the digital quotient. Digital quotient, the awareness and application of existing and emerging digital technologies, capabilities, practices, and strategies. So we have to go digitally, we have to be very good. There is no way you will tell me, ladies and gentlemen, today that, for example, you are a great accountant and yet you don't know how to handle SAP. We should be able to know how to work with these ERPs. And the moment you are good in one ERP, getting to know another ERP is very, very easy because, of course, there is that base, which is the same. The moment I appreciate QuickBooks, all right, and then you take me in this case here to SAP, for example, the FICO module, finance costing module, then I'll be able to do basics, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be able to create suppliers. I'll be able to create, in this case here, customers. I'll be able to pass journals. I'll be able, in this case here, to do quite a lot. So we must be tech savvy. Remember these ERPs, like, so many of them, already they are now adopting artificial intelligence within them. They have this technology which is quite intelligent, which is able to perform some things automatically even without you telling them, right? So as an accountant, I must be a digital accountant. I must be a digital accountant. Attending this meeting, having been laid off due to reorganization, ERP took over my job. Deborah, this is so sad, and we really pray that you'll be able to overcome this and, of course, even get better and bigger things. Remember, again, sometimes when a door is closed, there must be something better ahead of you. There must be something better ahead of you. Great. So this one here will turn out to be something good. But again, there, Deborah, now we are being told to do what here? To, be very good in these digital platforms here. So the other question before I bring in my guest, remember today is a day of guests. Today is not my day at all. I'm just doing what we call curtain raising. Emotional intelligence, the ability to identify your own emotions and those of others, harness and apply them to tasks and regulate and manage them. Ladies and gentlemen, remember all of us in this case here, especially, I'm sorry to use this example, ladies, we always have emotions that are quite kind of a roller coaster. You're sad today, happy, like that. As accountants, we are being called upon to have what we call thick skins. Because as accountants, where we are moving now, you will even not moving, but even where we find ourselves currently, you don't always get those people who are scratching your skin, figuratively. All right? So you can't afford to be that kind of a lady. When you see some other two ladies standing somewhere, you start thinking like they're talking about you. When you see somebody, in this case, even having a better hairstyle than yourself, we have to be smart in terms of emotional intelligence. We should not be those people who pick up things. Have you ever seen some employees who like speaking up even the smallest of the smallest of the smallest fights? Have you ever seen those kind of employees? You'll always get people saying that this guy has taken, something, like a lemon. a lemon. You're just bitter for nothing. We need to know how to control our emotions, because now we are being called upon to be emotionally intelligent, Very, very important. And I would want you to be answering my questions. I mean, you guys must have seen those kind of employees. And I believe you're not among those bitter employees. Even if you're bitter, please, let's know how to manage what here, our emotions. Emotional intelligence has to be up there. Has to be up there. Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, we have experience, XQ. The ability and skills to understand customer expectations, meet desired outcomes, and create value. So in this case here, the experiences you're giving out there. Remember, when you talk of customers, it's not just the customer comes to buy. I mean, even we have internal customers, your fellow colleagues, you're serving them. Anybody you are giving service and ensure that they're able to get what we call a good experience. Then we have, in this case here, IQ. Remember this IQ is different from EQ. The ability to acquire and use knowledge. You're intelligent, thinking, reasoning, and solving what your problems. Then we have vision. You should be able to see far. You should be able to see very far. The ability to anticipate the future trends accurately by extrapolating existing trends and facts, and filling the gaps by thinking innovatively. Like Mwalimu here, I can tell you for sure, this Mwalimu here is so much aware of where he wants RCM to be in the next 5 years. I'm able to see. I have a very big vision, and I'm determined to walk the talk. Is there somebody who knows the manager of Manchester City? Manchester City, I don't watch football, but at least there are some people that I follow. Yeah, Pep, he has another name. So I'm so sure there could be other guys who support other teams. Guardiola, great. There could be guys, there are Arsenal fans here. But when you rate these Pep's, in this case here, management skills, and the skills in this case here of knowing, where he's going. He has a big vision for his club. And this guy, look at even how he signs up his players. Look at how it's scientific here. Is there somebody in this case here who is an Arsenal fan saying, of course, Arsenal is a big club, but in this case here, you salute this gentleman? Is there anybody who is able to salute this gentleman? Winning 4 times in a row. Is there somebody who is an Arsenal? I want to hear Arsenal fans here, or even Man U fans here. You are saying, fine, your team is okay, but this particular manager, I salute him. I can't get those kind of salutes, I'm 100% sure. Pep is great, because the guy is legendary. He's visionary. So as an accountant, yeah, you can see now. Yeah, great. Yes, great. So we must know even our own visions as individuals. We must be able to know that my name is Sharon. I want to be the very best of accountants that we have in this world. And I shall be able to reach there. So I can see in this case here, my colleague, this is a friend of mine, he used to be my student. We taught with him severally, CPA, John O'Gara. He's saying the Man U in me can't allow that. The Man U in me can't allow that. Great. Moneybag, proud, okay. Great, FCPA. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to really work out to ensure that we are able to meet first of all, we craft our personal visions, our company's visions, and then we should be able to do what here to work things. We must be able to put in what we call 110%. When other guys are waking up at 7 a.m., we need to wake up at 6. We must put in 110% to ensure that we realize our visions, So we must, if we are to overcome, there are things we must do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, I'll be able, of course, I've given you this handout. This handout in this case is a big thing for you. That if you would want to succeed as an accountant moving forward with these digital disruptions, then you must be an assurance advocate. You must be a business transformer. You must be a data navigator. You must be the digital playmaker. And you must be a sustainability trailblazer. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk of sustainability. Very many people are running companies that are not sustainable. They don't think about the environment. They don't know how environmental issues are important to their companies. Look at, for example, I&M Bank. Now they are moving their head office from town center to Westlands. Why are they doing that? And yet the town offices are bigger. I mean, it's because now the one that they have at Westlands is a green office. Green office means what here that they're not making use of this geothermal electricity. Now they're using, in this case here, the sun, solar. There is a lot of recycling happening there. They're using the 3 R's there. All right. So in this case here, they invite their investors to come to the offices. They're able to see that these guys are what, I mean, we must be able to define sustainability practices here. That is why even IFRS has produced sustainability standards to guide us while doing financial reporting. So if I were you, this is another area that I will always think about. I have to do even a course on sustainability. We have very many courses there. We have the GRI. You can go and Google, get a course there. It's about 100,000. Do GRI. Very, very important. Because you must be a sustainability trailblazer. You must be at the front whenever we talk about whenever we talk about environmental issues. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, as I invite my guest, yeah, we have about 3 minutes. It will be very important for us to know when we talk about digital, the digital, just a moment. Yeah, you have to be a digital accountant. You can't afford to be in those areas where you know nothing about Excel, you know nothing about Power BI, and then you expect someone to pay you 200, 300,000 shillings. Nobody will do that. Now, I always use this example many times in my 2 minutes. If, for example, I am given this kind of data, here. If I come and say, for example, here at the beginning here, Control Shift down, look at this. I've been able to go to the last row. It's 15,121 row. If I just go back, ladies and gentlemen, here, if I look at what is presented, we have the year, we have the type, we have product group, we have producer, we have code, the volume. This doesn't make sense. But ladies and gentlemen, if you tell me in this case here to fix this up, I'll be able to do what we call a pivot table. So this pivot, this is how we'll pivot it. I'll come and say Control Shift, right arrow. I highlight all the top columns, and then I Control Shift down. I'll be able to highlight everything downwards. Then I'll be able to come and say insert. What am I inserting? I'm inserting a pivot table. I will simply come and say okay to this pop-up table. So once I'm here, I'll be able to come and minimize my. So I'll be able to come and pick the year to the columns. Pick in this case here, for example, the product groups, the rows. Then I'll be able to come and pick in this case here the volumes. This is what I would want to evaluate to the values. So you can see now the entire 15,000 rows, we have been able to condense everything to just 21. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, if you look at this very well, then you'll be able to see here we have, if for example, you're tracking down alcohol as a department, for example, as a product here. 2011, they are doing very well. They went up 2012, up. These guys are always going up. And better still, I can even come and fix a pivot table here, a pivot chart, like that. And then, of course, I'll come and collapse this nicely. Then I'll be able to come and... So once I have this pivot chart here, I'll be able to slice and dice my data. So, for example, I can come and choose beverages and the bread. And everything will collapse just to those 2 products. You can see beverage and bread. Even the table has collapsed to beverages and bread. All right. And I can even come and collapse these to 2 years that I want to compare. We must be digitally correct. So for example, I can do 2011, 2012. So out of this now I can get into management decision conversations with my people. All right. So I can see the beverages. These guys were up there and again, they're increasing. Bread products, you can see quite low. So I'll be able to tell these guys, no, it can't continue like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have this course, which of course you guys have paid. I'm now seeing we are about 200 of us. I'm now seeing we are about 200 of us who have already paid this. We are only charging you 1,000 if you remember. We had an offer, all right? But I'll be able to talk about this because I would want my students to be, this is a course we charge 80,000, but we're giving it to you for 1,000, inclusive of a certificate. I mean, you lose this kind of offers, then you have a problem. So it's exactly 9 a.m. with me, ladies and gentlemen. Here is CPA Elizabeth Kalunda. I'll be able to just give a brief description of this lady. This lady featured in Citizen TV the other day. We shall be able to send you that clip you watch. She rose from a high school teacher to a deputy vice chancellor in charge of finance at USIU. I mean, if you guys can't clap, just, I mean, look at that transformation. High school teacher moving straight away to a DVC. Not only that, but even the professor title. I mean, how many high school teachers really are able to struggle that way, that much, until they get professorship? Not many. It doesn't stop there. This lady, she's currently, I mean, the second in command in our accounting profession. She's the deputy chairperson at ICPAK. You know, we have a chairperson, CPA, and then we have now Vice Chairperson, who is Elizabeth Kalunda. So she is going to take us through just a little talk about mentorship, why you need, in this case here, to be under the feet of mentors for you to ensure that you are strategically aligned on matters of technology and any other thing. So, and I can see you guys are already clapping. I mean, that's a round of applause to this great lady. And even the fact that she has accepted to come and, I mean, grace us here, I mean, this is very good. This is very good. Very good. So, Prof, if you don't mind, you can unmute. And then, of course, if possible, also these students of mine would want to see you. I don't know whether you're able to put on your camera. We can make you a host.
He actually is telling me I can't start the video because the host has stopped it.
Okay, so now I've made you the host there. Great.
Yes, so are you able to see me? Let me. Yes, thank you. Yes, so good evening. Let me thank engineer, I call him Engineer CPA Aura, for giving me this opportunity to just come and talk about to you about mentorship in the space of accounting and finance. And this is an area that I'm so passionate about. So I would just want to have an idea of how many members we have here. How many are we here? Yeah, good. I've gotten the participants. Wow, we are over 200. Yeah, so thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and also thank you so much for the wonderful introduction that you've given me. So going to what you had told me to come and speak to this very ready to learn, ready to listen, ready to be mentored members is about mentorship in the space of accounting and finance. So I would want to maybe ask her, which I'll really appreciate if I'll hear from the chat. When you hear about mentorship, what do you understand by mentorship? So maybe if I can just see chats just mentioning what is mentorship, I would really appreciate. And why I'm asking this is sometimes when it comes to mentorship, just what mentorship is, some people don't understand what it is. And most of you ask, would somebody, you can approach maybe engineer CPA Aura, tell him I want you to be my mentor. So the question would be, so when you are talking about that, what exactly is mentorship? So please, can I see your charts here? What is mentorship? Good. I can see answers. Yes, actually, there are 2 members who have said, oh my goodness, there are so many guidances. Learning from those who've gone ahead. Good. There's one about providing guidance, especially with an experienced person. It's about molding. It's about providing direction, someone you can go to for advice. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, coaching. Somebody saying someone you can look up to for career advancement. Again, there's role model. Yeah, so thank you so much for the points that you've raised, because they show that you have an idea of what mentorship is all about. So I'll I'll talk about what mentorship is, and then from there, I would really want to go to what mentorship is not, so that as you get a mentor, or as you try to just approach someone to tell them that you want them to be their mentor, or you actually hear you are somebody's mentor, it will actually be very good for you to know what mentorship is all about. Now, when it comes to generally mentorship, this is where there's a professional relationship. And this relationship is whereby we have two parties, where one is a seasoned professional. So one is a seasoned professional, and the other one is an individual who has less experience. And the reason why these two come together to have this relationship that is referred to as mentorship is that the one who is experienced is expected to provide guidance, is expected to provide support, and also expected to give advice. So going by the definitions that you gave, we can clearly see that you have an idea of what mentorship is all about. So as we proceed, I just want to hear from us, does any one of you have a mentor? So maybe anybody of us who has a mentor, you can just raise up your hand so that I have an idea, so that when I start asking questions, I can have an idea who to ask. So please raise up your hand as I actually fix my charger to my laptop. Now, the hands that are up, I can see one from Esther, that is from the page that I'm in. Her name is close to mine. Good. Now my power is good. Good. I can see CPA Shikuku. Great. So I can see quite a number of you. I think I can, on the page I'm in, I can see two. I can see maybe CPA Aura, you also a mentor. Okay. Wow. So at least I can see some of you have mentors, but not all of you. I've seen two participants have raised up their hands. So good. So at least, good. I can see quite a number of hands that are up, but not so many. But so let's just have a conversation on what is this mentorship journey all about? Or when we talk about mentorship, what are we exactly referring to? So one thing that is very important about mentorship is that this relationship that we've talked about, where we say that there's guidance, it is very important that it must have, the two parties must actually have shared interest. They must have shared goals or shared experiences. And when it comes to professional mentorship, then that therefore means that they must have some commonality in terms of the profession that they have. Now, since we are talking about mentorship in accounting and in the wider space, in the wider space of accounting, then it means that the two parties, the mentor and the mentee, all of them are in the field. Now, the beauty about accounting is that all of us learn the same syllabus. We learn about the FRSs, if you are going to the auditing space, about their auditing standards. So we have a common understanding in terms of what is expected of us from a practice point. But since we have different experiences and interactions depending on maybe the work that you do, the exposure that you get, the opportunities that one has, and even the issue of age where now comes in experience, you'll find that there are some accountants who, at least especially those who are ahead of you, now that is the side of the mentee, they know more than you do. And it is therefore very, very, very important that when you decide to get into a mentorship relationship, the goals of that mentorship must be very clearly defined. So, and I'm hoping that you are taking down the points so that as you go through your mentorship journey, you are doing it the right way. Otherwise, that relationship is not going to be sustainable. So one, establish very clear goals. What do you want? Do you want mentorship in taxation? Do you want mentorship in financial reporting? Do you want mentorship in internal audit? Do you want mentorship in external audit. So the goals must be very, very, very clear. Normally what I do for the mentees on my hand, I normally have a sheet of paper that has certain things that has, it has certain boxes with questions that they need to fill. And the first thing that I ask them is, what is your interest? What do you want from this mentorship relationship? So in some cases, they tell me I want to be good in taxation, or I want to start practicing, or I just want to understand what happens in the NGO sector. And sometimes when I feel that I'm not very strong in this area, I actually guide them in certain common areas. And then me as the mentor, I link them to somebody else. So what am I trying to say here is that once you find that the goal is not aligned in terms of the specific, but generally the other things, your mentor actually has the responsibility of matching you with somebody who is seasoned. And at that point, actually, your mentor actually explains to the other person that there's this mentee of mine. They want to learn certain aspects about taxation. You are an expert in taxation. Please hold their hand. And for me, what I do is that I actually give them some work. I tell them I'm matching you with X so that you do this particular area. And after 2 weeks, we need to meet and you have to tell me, what have you learned? Are you getting close to your goal? So ensure that when you start these mentorship relations, you have a very clear objective. Okay, so, and the question you should ask yourself is, what do you want to achieve? That is very important. The next thing when it comes now to the mentorship, generally mentorship is between the two parties. Remember, we have said that one is very seasoned and the other one is actually young or is an upcoming professional. So there's that difference in terms of the experience that they have. So the mentee has to ensure that there's a safe space between the two. Yeah, and this is very important because since mentorship is a two-way relationship, if one of the parties does not feel safe to speak, to share their fears, to share their challenges, to just share their concerns, this mentorship is not going to work. So now, what does that mean from a practical point? When you are looking for a mentor, you need to look for someone who you feel there's a connection between the two of you. And you need to identify your mentor in a very intentional way. So your work is not to just say, I have seen maybe CPA Engineer Ura is a very good teacher, he's very good in accounting, he's very good in reporting. So he's going to be my mentor, and you don't know him. You have no relationship with him. You must establish a relationship with him, a good rapport, so that safe space can come out naturally. So before you settle on a mentor, try to interact with them. And the interactions are done in many ways. So you can go maybe for networking events. You can even go for ICPAK. We normally have conferences. When you go to the conference and then you just see there somebody is responding or the facilitator seems to know so much, try to ask some question. If you see that you have some common bond that is coming in, then that would be somebody who can actually naturally create a safe space for you. Another thing that is important about mentorship is whenever it comes to mentorship, there must be that provision of guidance and support. And I'm happy when most of you are explaining or you are trying to give me the definition of what mentorship is, they were talking about guidance. Now, this goes to the mentors. And for you as the mentees, you have to check this relationship. Am I getting this? So from the point of support and guidance, the mentor should ensure that they are offering practical advice. Remember, this is an experienced and seasoned person. So when it comes to mentorship, there's nothing theoretical. It is actually practical. This is what I do. This is what I've gone through. So in this, there's going to be that sharing of experiences, giving those very practical advices, helping the mentee navigate along their career path. So that is very important. So if some of you start mentorship, ensure that you give those practical advices. This is not time for class where we are being theoretical. No, it is very, very practical. What did I do? What do I do? Okay, that is very important. Another thing that is important in mentorship is that at the end of the day, it encourages professional development. Remember, you are an accountant and you are maybe in a specific field, or you are new in accounting, you don't know which area to really join. So the most important thing should be the mentor should be able to support the mentee so that they acquire new skills that are necessary, new certification, or even new academic degrees that might be necessary. And I really like what CPA Aura does. I can see he's posting things that he's doing, sustainability issues, just new things that are coming, emerging issues, technology, AI in accounting. So as a mentor, the mentor should encourage the mentee to develop professionally. And since the mentor is more knowledgeable in terms of the opportunities and the direction that that career is going, they'll actually be able to tell you this is the space that you must follow. So if you are in a mentorship situation and at the end of the day you remain the same, there's something just not right around that. So again, it means if you take up that mentorship position, you decide to be the mentor, you should definitely know that your experience has exposed you to more knowledge than the mentee. So it is actually your responsibility to just enable them know these opportunities that are out there. Another important thing about mentorship is that it offers networking opportunities. So personally, for me, the people I normally mentor, I normally invite, because sometimes I'm invited to activities that I feel this is a nice networking activities. And I actually invite them and tell them, please, there's this activity. I want you to come and listen. I want you to come and meet other people. And I've not been able to just go through the list of the members who are here. I remember last week I had a very interesting event that had been invited. It was a forum for ladies in the finance. Actually, they call themselves finance professionals in Kenya. And almost all the ladies that I mentor, I told them, can you come for that event? And for me, I was so happy because they were able now to meet other ladies. They're able to even make new friends because mentorship is about networking, and your mentor should be able to invite you to those mentorship activities. Another important thing about mentorship, and this goes now to two ways, the mentor should be available and responsive, and so should the mentee. So since this is an activity that has a goal, this is something that will not be there forever, then the two teams must create time. So when you tell somebody you want them to be you want to be their mentee, you should be able to dedicate time. And even for the mentor, once you accept, then you should be able to have time. So there should be regular visits, regular meetings. They should be response promptly to the mentee's issues. Now, even for the mentor, when the mentor asks the mentee, they should be able to respond. And I'm happy that these days, because of technology, we can be able to meet virtually. So that's very important. So those are some of the key things I would want to say about the do's, but I'd also want to talk about the don'ts. So one, when it comes to mentorship, mentorship is not about managing. I should give you assignments and I should allow you to explore that space. You can actually come up with different ways and new ways of doing something that even me, I didn't know. So it's a learning experience for the two of us. So the mentor, the mentor should allow the mentee to take ownership of their career and make their own decisions. Remember, their work is to provide guidance, to provide support. Another thing is that for the mentors or in mentorship, there should be no over-promise. So now for the mentees, when you get a mentor, you should not think that because I have this mentor, my career will change. There'll be so many, and even for the mentor, there should be no over-promising. Remember, growth is progressive and opportunities are not there all the time. So it will be very unfortunate when unrealistic promises are made about the outcome of the mentorship. But the beauty about this mentorship is that this is something, especially if you have set the goals at the beginning, then you know what to expect. You cannot expect anything out of what the forecast was. If something good comes out of it beyond what you expected, that is good. But let there not be unrealistic expectations. And then for one thing I would actually want to say is that when it comes to mentorship should not be treated as a one-way street. So the mentor should not feel that they're the ones who are doing everything. And also the mentee should know this is a two-way communication. So the two of them should actually work together. Again, something very, very important in mentorship, is that there should be no sharing of confidential information. So when I'm your mentor, I should not probe you in some things that you feel, no, this is, you're coming into so much of my space. No, this is a professional relationship. I want to help you grow in your relationship. So issues of confidentiality are not likely to come in through. So those are some of the things those are general things about mentorship. But now that majority of you are likely to be the mentees, there are certain things I would also want you to learn, so that as you go through the mentorship journey, you are going to observe them. So one, as a mentee, you must be proactive. As a mentee, you must be proactive. Remember, your mentor is a very busy person. By virtue that they are seasoned, by virtue that they are way up there in the profession, they are actually busy people. So you must be proactive. Don't expect them to be looking for you. You are the one to be looking for them. You are the one to, when it comes to the meetings, you are the one to ensure that those meetings happen. So be proactive. Another thing is be prepared. Whenever you have a mentorship session, you must come to that meeting prepared. One, how do you get prepared? You must have very clear questions. What are you going to ask your mentor? Because remember, this is you are learning from this seasoned person. So what questions are you going to ask? So you must come prepared with those questions. Remember, you are the one who needs the guidance. You are the one who needs the support. So you know where your weaknesses are. So you must come prepared and come with a clear understanding of your goals. Actually, for me, as I'd said, when the first question is, I ask them, what do you want? So they put it down in writing. And I make sure all these goals we are going to achieve and I told you, if there's one that I can't, I actually match them to somebody who can do that. The other thing is be open. Remember, we said this is a safe space. So for you, make sure you share your thoughts, you share your experiences, you share your challenges. Another very important thing, you must be respectful. Remember, this is somebody, the mentor is somebody who is actually taking his very busy time and schedule to slot you in. So you must be respectful. You must actually be grateful for the mentor accepting them to mentor you. In fact, sometimes if you request somebody to mentor you and they refuse, don't take it personal. Remember, mentorship has a lot of responsibility. So probably your mentor saw that it can't work. My schedule is too busy. There's something I'm handling right now and I cannot be able to mentor. So when somebody says no, just be gracious. Next time, maybe look for another person, but be respectful. Again, as a mentee, you should always be willing to learn, okay? You should be able to embrace new ideas, new perspective. That's why you went for that mentorship. So come up with just go there with a very open mind. Another important thing, be accountable. Remember, you had a goal. At the end of the day, you must be accountable to follow through the commitments and the assignments that the mentor has given you. Okay? So those are the do's. And the don'ts, one, still repeating, don't be passive. This is a two-way relationship, and one is likely to gain more than the other one, and the mentee is the one who is growing. So make sure you are not passive. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you are afraid to ask questions, then it means that safe space that I talked about has not been created, and you need that safe space. Again, don't be late, don't be unprepared. If you come late, you come unprepared, that shows you are somebody who is not serious. And there's no mentor who would want to be associated or to waste their time on somebody who does not even look serious about their life. Another very important thing, don't be over-reliant on your mentor. Remember, the mentor is supposed to guide you. The mentor is supposed to support you. So don't be over-reliant. Again, very important, don't be a burden. Don't be a burden. What do I mean by don't be a burden? You need to be mindful of your mentor's time and workload. So don't have too many questions. Don't be there all the time. Remember, these are scheduled meetings. So make sure you respect their space. You'll be agreeing how soon you'll be meeting. So that respect on that. If it's 2 weeks, for 1 hour, 30 minutes, respect that. And then again, finally, because this is a relationship that you are establishing, you must always be respectful. So don't, in fact, the word is avoid Avoid criticizing your mentor or their advice. Remember, you are the one who probably chose them, or you are matched because of a reason. Remember, they are more experienced than you, so don't criticize them. In fact, when they are there, I mean, like we are having a conversation, and then you tell me, no, that cannot work. No, I don't think that idea is right. No. Even if there's something that maybe you're not agreeing and you're having a discussion, can you do it in a respectful way? So, CPA Aura, those are the few points that I wanted to mention about mentorship. This is actually, I can say, is 101 on mentorship, which they now need to be very careful. They need to pick the points and know whenever they get into a mentorship relationship, then those are the things that they need to observe. So, over to you.
Thank you so
CPA Aura,
much,
so that if you
Prof.
have any questions, you can allow them to ask. Yes, thank you. Back
Yes,
to you.
thank you so much, Prof. That is a wonderful session that we have had from you. I mean, given the short notice, we count this as an honor. So then, as I just do like a 5 minutes presentation, would expect you to ask questions, please, on the chat box here. We don't want to keep Prof for long here. Ask like 2 or 3 questions on the chat box here, and she'll be able to respond. And then, of course, that will be it. And I mean, Prof will be a long-term friend of RCM. She's not going away. She'll be coming back soon and soon. And of course, on this front, I would want to request anybody who is here. I'm so sure when we began this, I asked you guys, well, there are students who are not students, but I mean, people have cleared CPA, but they're not members of ICPAK. And I saw so many of you raising up your hands. It's a high time that now that we have a good friend here, who is, I mean, at their top of ICPAK, we have to be members of ICPAK. We must be members of ICPAK for us to be able to, even when I call her next, I should be able to tell her, I mean, I have your members here. We should be like 200 members of ICPAK, all right? There are very, very many benefits of being a member of ICPAK. Don't be cheated. You know, at times I look at what goes on online, where people are saying that these things are very, there are CPDs that you can get online today for just 1,000 shillings. There's a lot of misinformation going around, and that is a topic that I would want us to pick with the Prof in the near future. But for today, it was about mentorship, and I think she has nailed this very well. So do we have in this case here somebody who has any question? How does one get a mentor, especially for someone who has just joined ICPAK? Yeah, that's the only question we have. Prof, if you don't mind, you can respond to that.
Yes, I'll respond to that, and then I can also respond to the question about somebody who is very unhappy with failing so many times and saying that CASNEB feels like they just want money. So let me also say that I sit in the board of CASNEB, and before the results are released, we go through those results. We see what scores were there, and we approve the results. So let me actually say that at CASNEB, we don't fail students. In fact, our joy is that the students pass, but sometimes the students really disappoint us. So for those of you who have maybe failed more than once, just go back and check how did you answer those questions. But as CASNEB, that is not what we do. In fact, sometimes we are also concerned. So that is it. So there's somebody who, let me just answer this before I go to the mentorship question. There's also somebody who has asked, what is the difference between ICPAK associate and a full member? Now, an ICPAK member who is referred to as an associate, this is a member who, you are a CPA finalist, you have just finished your CPA exams, you have not had any experience in accounting, so you cannot be a full CPA, so you become an associate. So an associate, I can say this is a new CPA who is now learning the ways of the profession. So after 2 years, if you have been working in accounting related work, then you actually now graduate and become a full CPA. So that is the difference. So in terms of the academics, they are all the same. So the difference is the one that now makes one to be a CPA. Now, there's the question that okay, let me just pick a last one also. Yeah, there's also somebody, I saw somebody who said they have requested to join ICPAK and they have not gotten their registration. Yes, let me say that there's been a slight delay. Remember, registration of accountants is done by a committee that is very independent from ICPAK in terms of what they do. Yes, the members are selected by the ICPAK Council through a very transparent process, but the names have to be gazetted through the minister, the CS National Treasury. So currently there's been a slight delay. The names have been taken. Once the names have been gazetted, those of you who had asked about, those who had registered, now the Registration Quality Assurance Committee will sit and do that. And then, so I think those are some of the questions I can answer before I go. There was this question of somebody who had asked, how does somebody get a mentor? Now, remember, we said that a mentor is one who is quite seasoned in their profession. The mentee is not. So it is up to you as the mentor, the mentee, to actually identify somebody who you feel that they really have, they are quite seasoned in the profession and you might want to learn from them. So that is one way. You actually do a direct approach. You just tell the person, but remember I said you must have a rapport with the person. So you don't just go and say, oh, hi, I want you to be my mentor. No, there must be some relationship that has been established. So like, for example, you can go to an event, maybe if we had this session in a face-to-face, I'm there, I'm giving a presentation, RCP engineer Aura is also giving his session. There are other speakers. So you find that whatever they are saying seems to really resonate with you. Then you can actually approach the person. So that is one way where you actually directly ask the question. Now, there are those again where there are programs that have mentorship. So like actually today morning, I am a patron in a group that, or in a let me just call it a group that is called Startup Shujaa. This is a group where we try to help young entrepreneurs to do their businesses, we match them to funders, let me call them to funders. But for them to go through that process, we have to take them through a mentorship program. And in that mentorship program, we have a pool of mentors. So we match you to a certain mentor based on your needs. So that one is a formal one. So it can be done formally if there's such an arrangement. But the ones that are common, maybe the ones that you have, if you have not registered in any organization that offers that, it is upon you to approach that person. So that is how you get a mentor. So I want to see whether there are other questions. Yeah, so, and I'm seeing that, okay, somebody, yeah, I'll just pick the questions at random, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to just answer all the questions. Somebody is saying that okay, they're moving a bit fast. Oh yeah, that's Samuel. Samuel is saying he did his BDA exam. I have 7 years work experience. In case I pass, what's the procedure to get registered with ICPAK? So now for you to be registered with ICPAK, you must have done the CPA exams, the CASDEV, the CPA. So this one is the one for data analytics, Yeah, so if you have if you have finished the data analytics, definitely, and you've also done the other one there's one where we do simulations, maybe
Workshops,
the workshops, So once you have done that, you now register, and the process, actually CASNEP should be able to give you that information, because I remember when you were doing CPAs, once you finish and pass the final exam, you used to get an envelope that has the registration requirements for you to join ICPAK. So, but if that is not the case, just log in to ICPAK. How do you become a member? There'll be the information is very clear, and you have to upload some documents. And these days, you have automated the process. So you'll be told your documents have been checked, your documents are pending, or now you are waiting. Everything has been, I can't remember the exact messages, but the final one would be now, your papers have been clear. Now we are waiting approval. I can't remember the exact message, but there's something that you are told. So in case you upload documents and they are not enough, since the vetting will be done by ICPAK staff, if there's something that you don't have, they'll actually communicate and tell you, bring additional documents. So it is the process has been automated. Just visit our website and you'll be able to know the documents that you need. And then there was something I'd seen about some skewness. I'm trying to look. The questions are moving in so fast. So, okay, there was something, yeah, for ICPAK, I find most conferences skewed towards county government. What happens to accountants in other organizations, especially in multinational settings? Okay, so I appreciate your comment, KK, but we try to have diverse trainings for NGOs, the FRSs, which is common for all. We have some that are meant for the public sector, others for the county governments. Yeah, but we've had that concern where members feel that the trainings are more for to the public sector, but we actually try to bring a ring. But from these conversations and these concerns, I feel I take your point very as a welcome comment, and we are going to bring more trainings that are actually now seem to cut across all the different sectors or all the different accountants in the various sector. And then somebody has said, according to NQA CPAs. Yeah, so there's a CPA John Ogara, my good friend. Yeah, now according to the Kenya National Qualification Authority, this is the body in Kenya that actually looks at the various qualifications that are there and tries to maybe equate and say where does this qualification reach. Now KNQA has actually said or put it, he has said that when you have a CPA qualification, that is equivalent to a degree. And that now means with a CPA, you can actually be considered as a graduate. That means essentially with a CPA, you can even register for a master's education straight away. But now for this to be well handled, universities actually now are really looking at it to see, then what can they do? If somebody has a CPA, can you now get a paper or a certificate that reads now a bachelor's degree? So universities are trying to see how many courses can you take with your CPA that will be few, but still enough that they have met the basic minimums of somebody who has maybe, if it is, for example, at USIU, you cannot just bring your CPA and we say that this is equated to maybe our bachelor's degree. What you'll do, you'll come with that. We give you quite a number of exemptions. You do a few courses, and then now you get a degree, a bachelor's degree from USIU. But for other universities, you can go straight on and do a master. So I agree with what CPA Ogara has said. And then we have accountants are the key people in all organizations, but are maybe poorly paid. Yeah, this is something that I totally agree. We are trying to see what we can do, but the problem that we are seeing, the problem that has been there, remember, accountants work in different organizations, including even private organizations, where we cannot start interfering and telling them that you need to pay accountants this much. But we are trying to come up with the minimum salaries. But it's going to be a tough fight. There's no union, organizations are different, and sometimes we are told, wachana na hii, this is going to be decided by the employer. Even at USIU, we have our own scale, so we have to pay within that scale. And unfortunately, that is the situation as it is. And it's a market problem where the supply somehow seems to be more than the demand. There's a question here also from Isha Dunga that says, my friend wanted to get practicing certificate from ICPAK. The frustrations are really discouraging. So maybe unless I need to understand what is really the frustration, because if the current frustration is a response and getting the certificate as at now, that one, I would say that the situation is we don't have the Registration Quality Assurance Committee. And this is a committee that is independent, meaning that they must be appointed and the names gazetted through the National Treasury. So please, Isha, let your friend not be discouraged. But if there are other frustrations other than waiting for the RQAC, I would maybe request, if you have more details, CPA Aura can share my number. I will be very happy to try to help. There's a question again of minimum wages. Yeah, so I've said it's not, it's a very interesting market, supply more than the demand, and different organizations with different schemes of service and all that. So that has not been very possible. The other one is which one? My friend, I don't know whether the questions have repeated themselves. Yeah, but the things on the ground seem different. Does it mean employers are not aware? Yeah, good. Actually, that's a very good question, CPA Langat. Well done. Now, when when KNQA came up with this, we told them they need to actually sensitize the market on that, because for sure the market does not do that. And let me say, it is not only CPA that was equated to another qualification. There are so many other courses. Like, for example, now, if I'm maybe if I'm doing some maybe some manual work and I've never gone to school, with that experience and doing some exams that have been set by KNQA, you can be told actually you have a diploma in plumbing, and yet you don't have it. So these are some of the things that they really need to come up with the modalities on how that can be done. Because yes, for sure, some organizations don't know that. These organizations just know that CPA is a certification. If you need a degree, you must have a degree. And that's why the universities now are trying to see what can they do so that if you have a CPA, they can actually allow you to do fewer courses, and then now you get a degree, so that now you'll be having a bachelor's plus that CPA. So that is something that we are trying to work together with KNQA, with CASNEP to ensure that happens. So what else now who is an
Prof, if you
unpracticing?
don't mind, if
Yes,
I can cut you short.
yes, please.
Those questions are now coming many. There is one that is
Yes,
quite sensitive here.
yeah.
Now, this is being addressed to you as a board member at CASNEP by Valentine. Hello, Prof. We did BDA yesterday, but there was a terrible network issue. BDA is Business Data Analytics.
Yes, yes.
Most of us were locked out before time, then added some minutes to upload. So what then happened, I'm not able to see that particular narrative, the whole of it. What happened is that the system, in this case here, initially had taken up some work for them. So the system uploaded automatically some work for them. And then, of course, when they were added more time, they continued doing their work. And then now they did save. So it's like now there are two scripts from these students, in this case, that CASNEB has taken. So they are worried. What if the script that will be marked will be the shorter one? So I'm going to raise this up with the CEO on Monday, but you also being a board member would really also expect you to raise it up.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for raising that. And I'm sure the center or whatever, where all the centers where this happened was captured. Actually, last week we were all in the field doing spot checks. I happened to go to Kilifi because I was there for something. I also went to KU Ruiru campus. So we were all on the ground. But this particular point, I'm actually going to upload it again. We have a wall, a WhatsApp wall. I'm going to post it so that the CEO can be able to know, and we all know. But not what I can assure you is that you will definitely not be disadvantaged by this. So if there are two scripts that are out there, the short one, I mean the incomplete one and the complete one is the one that will be used to rate you. Yeah, so we cannot disadvantage you. And I'm definitely sure that this problem has been known. If it is not known, I'm going to raise it. Yeah. Thank you, and sorry for that, Valentine. Yeah.
Great. I think most of the questions that are being asked here, they are very good, but I believe some I'll be able to handle them myself. And others, if you can type them, I can forward them to our prof here, who will be able to respond to them either in writing or even personally. Next time she'll be able to attend. Otherwise, I'd requested her for only 10 minutes. I can see now we have eaten a whole 40 minutes, you see.
Yeah,
and it's something she's doing pro bono, honestly.
No, it's all right. Yeah, but I really appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm happy to see my student there, Dr. Nancy Okeo. Thank you. So you can see this is quite a big forum that you've created.
Yes.
Yeah, CPA Engineer Aura. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm always available so long as I'm around, and very happy to give talks. That is what I do. Mentorship, that is actually my space. Thank you so much.
There is one who requested you to mentor her. Her name is Vera. Maybe I'll also be able to pass her number to you.
Please do. Yeah. In fact,
All
share,
right.
share my number with her. Vera, when you get in touch, if you call me and I don't pick your call, just text me. I normally respond to the calls, but sometimes I'm not able to actually pick it on a live situation. I normally respond later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Can we give one round of applause to our professor here? I mean, you've exceeded expectations, and giving up this kind of speech in that short duration is wonderful. So as she goes, the summary here is about mentorship. Like now what we have spoken about here, let's ensure that we are creative. Emotional intelligence is very, very key, ladies and gentlemen. We must be visionary. What is it that we want? We must be digital playmakers. And for us to be able to do all this, there is career adaptation, given what AI will only displace people who are not well aligned. All right. We must, in this case here, transform our skills. And then we have what we call learning evolution. Honestly speaking, this thing of you still going back to the physical classroom to study, this thing should end. You guys need to be friends with these systems of, e-learning, because this is where the world is going but towards. It's already there. Like I've worked for a Swedish organization for more than 5 years. From my sitting room. So if I'm going back to these 4 walls to study there, then what does it mean? We must, in this case here, have our learning evolving. Ladies and gentlemen, if we don't adopt, this is what adapt mean. This is what is going to happen. If you give me just a minute as I wind up, I also don't want to keep you around here for so long. There is just one thing that I would want to bring to your attention, which is critical. How organizations were able to fall, how organizations were able to drift out of what we call market expectations, and they were left behind. I don't want any of my students here to be left behind. This AI automation is real, and this is a mentorship talk, basically. Look at IBM. In the 1970s, IBM was a very powerful and a profitable computer manufacturer. However, by the mid-80s, it had registered one of the largest corporate losses ever made. In the space of about 5 years, there was a complete turnaround. How did this happen? With the benefit of insight, many commentators suggest that IBM hit hard times because it misread the impact of a change of technology. Please, you accountants, let us not misread. Look at Nokia. Until about 2008, Nokia was one of the most successful mobile phone manufacturers in the world. It was tied to an operating system called Symbian. And when Apple launched its iPhone, Nokia rapidly lost market share. Nokia was sold to Microsoft in 2014, and Nokia is no longer used as a brand name for phones, having been replaced by simply because they moved too slowly in terms of staying up to date with popular developments. Things are happening in the accountants industry. We have to be up there. So many things happen to Kodak. I've already shared this document with you. I would want you to go and study. So, Prof, you can now leave at your pleasure, Prof. We are so happy to have you around. Good night, and we hope you will be, a great friend of RCM when we call you next time. Thank you, and bye, Prof. Great. Okay, so then I can move ahead now and answer most of the questions that you guys are asking around here. I can answer. There are questions I can tackle. I'm happy that you guys were able to come. When somebody says that they are a board member of CASNEP, you guys are expected you to move very fast and ask your great questions, and you've been able to do exactly that. All right. All right. So is there anything that you would want now Mwalimu here to answer? Any question you would want Mwalimu to answer? Now Prof is gone. Prof is gone. Unless there is a question, then I would comfortably, in this case here, pass mark for BDA. These things, ladies and gentlemen, we should not even be worried about the pass mark. I don't think you should be worried about the pass mark, really. You should not be worried about the pass mark, really. Many other times, you guys have done exams thinking that you're going to fail. But what happened? You passed. You passed. elaborate on how to get a practicing license, like I'm a licensed auditing, I run a licensed auditing firm. I mean, it's very easy. Everything is there on the portal, ICPAK portal, all right? If you go to ICPAK portal, you'll be able to get information like, for example, you must have been a member of ICPAK for a number of years. You must have been under mentorship of a registered organization. Like currently, I'm working with the 7 people who are attached to my firm. They are simply in my firm because they would want to get a practicing certificate. All right. Yeah. So in this case, they want to get a practice. So that one is very well really explained. That one is very well explained. Very well explained. They can give out. Great. Thank you very much, Mr. What actually CASNEB is planning to do is to start offering BDA as an independent qualification. In the near future, you will see the old members of ICPAK like myself who never did BDA. We're going to be invited to do this BDA as a different course. Does one get a certificate after advanced level? No, no certificate at all. After advanced level, you must do the exit paper known as BDA. It's after doing BDA, then you will be able to now do those workshops, and then you become what here, a member of ICPAK. However, personally, I've done a letter to CASNEB telling them, I mean, when somebody has cleared, for example, these 4 mandatory papers, all right, and this one strategic, one optional paper, I mean, there should be some certificate being given out. As this person is struggling with BDA and workshops, you can take a whole year, there should be some certificate given to this ninja who has really struggled. All right? So that I've done, I always try to fight for my students because I know what they need. I mean, you know, there are students who have finished all those papers. Now they're struggling with BDA, they're struggling with workshops. It's taking like a whole year. Up to now, they have got no paper to hold on to show people that, I mean, I'm almost clearing here. How I wish you raised this point when the prof was around, but I'll be able to have her, of course, listen to this video and know where to cut. Great. I share the document. Somebody should be able to share that document. Is it advisable to do a PhD? It basically depends on your career aspirations. If you would want to get into academia, then a PhD is recommended. All right. But of course, most of you are not going into academia, then it can only be advisable you get onto these other courses like CFE. Like now we have a 3 months CFE international course. We have just introduced it starting on the 5th. So you do this CFE international course in 3 months, and then you go to CASNEB for the CFFE. If you go to CASNEB now for the CFFE, you only do 2 papers, imagine. You have the CFFE. Just like the students who are clever than ourselves. You know, like me, just like you, I started with CPA and then went to ACCA. I wish I knew I would have done ACCA first. Because people who do ACCA, changing ACCA to CPA, you only do 2 papers. So the same case we have CFE International. CFE International, you only take 3 months. You do it in 3 months and pass those 4 papers. And once you pass those 4 papers, you walk to CASNEB. They only ask you to do 2 papers at module 3. So before, in this case here, they change the rules because, of course, they will change the rules very, very soon. It's important that all of us, especially those students who did BDA last semester, get into this fraud area, get into this fraud space. Fraud, once you do like today, I've been with a guy called Douglas. Douglas was my student long time ago. He did CPA. Then he is now employed at I&M. He did CFE International, and now he's in the fraud department of I&M Bank. All right. I mean, fraud, you know, when you are able to know the fraud schemes, and then you get to know how to detect them, and then, of course, know how to put brakes on them, or even do investigations very well. That's another space that is very, very good. So there are these short courses you can do, like CIFA. Of course, CIFA is not very well developed here in Kenya, but, you know, as we progress, people will start looking for investment advisories. You know, in the US, in the UK, you can't start, in this case here, in investments without, I mean, seeking for services of an investment banker. But here in Kenya, I mean, how many of these investment decisions have you ever gone seeking for from an investment banker before you bought land, before you bought shares? Very, very few. You don't even know what you call. I mean, CIFA is a good one, but if I were you, there are other courses I can do before I do CIFA, not unless I'm already an investment banker, not unless I'm already in that space. If I'm in that space, then I'll be able to do CIFA. All right. Please, I'm speaking very fast because I don't want to keep you waiting. I don't want to keep you waiting, and I would want today to answer as many questions as possible. Yeah, after finishing BDA this August and wish to begin CIFA, is it possible? I know, of course, CASNEB would want the, but CASNEB, given that is the one administering the two qualifications, assuming you pass, before you do these workshops, they should be able to allow you, says the exemptions, and then you go along with them. My question has been one in life here in Kenya. Does it mean that only CPA graduates and those registered to ICPAK are considered to be accountants? What about those who pursued finance and accounting, unfortunately, got a job and had no chance to pursue CPA exams? Unfortunately, ICPAK is well anchored in the Act. ICPAK. That you can only practice accountants in Kenya here if you are a member of ICPAK. You're only considered an accountant if you're a member of ICPAK. It doesn't matter whether you've done an MBA or whatever. It is the law. The law is the law. We must accept and, work with it. So what you need to do, CASNEB, of course, is aware of that. And that is why they're giving you so many exemptions. If, for example, you've done BCom accounting, then you'll be given like 6 exemptions at the lower level. Then you do the intermediate, you do, in this case, the what here, the advanced. Then you start practicing. Remember, like last week, they started, in this case here, going with DCIs to most of these firms that are calling themselves accounting firms, auditing firms. Now they're being arrested. Because, you're saying you're an accountant and yet you don't have that mandate to practice. Remember, that mandate is only given by who? By ICPAK. So it is a high time, of course, you'll be able to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward with a license, you'll be able to do quite a lot. So are there questions that I'm missing here? For being there for us, great. Thanks, Vincent. Yeah, BDA should be taught from the word go, ukianza CPA. Theory yake ni computer science. Actually, what I normally tell is only the students don't listen to me very well. I always take an extra mile to advise my students what they need to do. I've always told you, once you have begun with CPA 1, start working towards completing your CPA by number 1, ensuring that you join advanced Excel classes. Start with basic Excel, then advanced Excel classes. So you can imagine, like now, next week, part 1, when we open on the 2nd, there are students who are coming to do BDA and they have never studied Excel. All right? That's a disaster. So you'll be having so many balls in this case to catch up in the air. If I were you, the moment I've gotten into this accounting world, knowing that there is a lot of data crunching to be done, then something like Excel, it is something we should be able to start running with as fast as possible. So you can get started, you can start getting used to computers. If you look at, for example, this exam that was done yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys were keen, the guys who are doing BDA, so many students were sweating in exam rooms, sweating at the forehead, sweating from the wrong places. Not simply that they don't know what the questions were being asked to pair were. They were able to, but because most of them are handling computers for the very first time, even their typing speed is horrible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're bringing your brothers and you're bringing your sisters to CPA now, ensure that you buy them a laptop from the word go. Most students, with my experience, most students in this case here who have a high proficiency of using computers normally find an easy time whenever it comes to BDA. You may not accept that, and that is why we charge you something modest. For this advanced Excel, 1,000 bob. And of course, then we start teaching this thing from the very basic, and then we go advanced like that. I can see so many, please ask them. I'll be, even if it's 11, even if it's sleeping at 11, today I want to answer all questions. After BDA, if I want another course with CASNEB, which one would you advise? I would advise not with CAS. Maybe if I were you, I would go international, because if you look at all these CFOs, CEOs in Kenya, all of them have got international feathers. Like me, most of the CEO jobs I apply, I'm always, even if I don't win at the end of the day, because at times Kenya is the Kenya that all of us happens to be knowing. I mean, but I am called. The Kenya Airways CEO, I was in the interview, all right, because of the international qualifications. You blend international local. So if Edna, I were you, I would look for this amount. It's about 60, 70,000 Kenya shillings. You do CFE international, and then after you finish, you come and do the CFFE locally here. All right. And then if I were you, ladies and gentlemen, as I finish, because I can see the questions are no longer coming, there are things that you need to know. This aspect of stacking so many papers, at the end of the day, you have a master's, you have got this, without some key skills, you are not going anywhere. For example, there is this underestimated, underrated skill called, in this case here, public speaking. I mean, I've never seen people taking public speaking classes seriously. People are there. I mean, people have got serious issues with public speaking, but they're doing nothing. As a school, as RCM, we will be able to come up with through especially the RCM welfare, because now we have RCM welfare. We need also to have a way of the welfare, raising some little fees other than members' contributions. We are going to have a very good platform where, in this case here under the welfare, we introduce public speaking classes and get to see that no student of ours, in this case here, confuses, like you have a R and L. You get somebody, in this case, you're going like on these TikToks, and they're very serious. I'm not the blind, I'm the bridegroom's whatever. I'm the bridegroom's brother. No. That is not an accountant. So as much as we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, that keep on getting papers, there are things that are very, very, very critical, like public speaking. If I were you, I would really practice in front of mirrors. I would record myself, in this case, speaking, using my phone, and listen. There are people who can't listen to themselves. They always think like their voices are very, very bad. No. Listen to yourself, correct yourself. And then, of course, if you'll be able to join our classes here, we shall be able to give you a feedback sounding board, where we will come and then we're able to tell you that, hey, there you have a filler word. You're confusing she with C. And the moment we take care of that, then you'll be able to shine at your workplace. People will be able to recognize your talents here. Because remember, people can't recognize a talent that is not very well presented. So if I were you, I would really be working on 3 key things. Number 1, public speaking. Don't even wait for, you guys are going to become financial reporters. You're going to become auditors. You're going to get yourself standing before 2,000 people. You're going to get yourself like now today, I'm standing before, at the moment, 170 people. And you can see I'm very, very courageous. All right? So it will be very important, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not, we must get a way of making this thing, in this case, compulsory. So Mwalimu, if somebody is working in accounting field, is a seminar necessary for one to apply for ICPAK membership? Even if you are working in an accounting role today, seminars are mandatory. The ethics seminars, those are mandatory. The only thing you'll be able to avoid, Bonamasoti, is the simulations. You'll be able to avoid the simulations, but seminars are mandatory. Thank you for asking that. Vera, that contact, I would want you to send it to me. I know, Vera, you have my number. Here, I can't be able to pick it. Suppose someone has been working on the accounting space. Is it necessary for him to do workshop simulation? No. Vincent, that one is out of the way for you. What about having CPA and SCCA like myself here? Great combination. Because when you are a CPA, you will get, so many exemptions. You only do 4 or 5 maximum. Then you have ACCA qualification. Once you get this ACCA qualification, just like some of us, go to the University of London virtually from here in Kenya, all right? And then you do 2 papers, and then you get an MSc in professional accountancy. Now, once you have, for example, your local degree, University of Nairobi, BCom, then you have ACCA International, then you have masters in from the University of London. You are done and dusted. I would always vouch for ACCA every other single minute of the day. ACCA is a superior international qualification that will be able to open doors for you. So in Kenya, we have brokers who must query here as CIFA. Can one do CFE before completing advanced level? Yes. Charity, you don't remember the case of this lady, what is her name? We have a lady who is doing BDA. This lady got a fail in advanced FM. When she got a fail in advanced FM, she said, I have to convert this lemon to lemonade and drink it. However bitter this paper is, I will not sit down just reading for this AFM alone. So during those 3 months, after failing AFM, she went ahead and studied, in this case here, the CFE International. And she was able to do that CFE International, the 4 papers, plus the AFM paper. When the AFM results were coming out, that is when, of course, the CFE results were also out. And she had now passed in all the papers. So right now she's doing BDA. Her name is Valentine, I think. How comes I'm forgetting? Sifamo. That's her name, yes. This kissy girl, Sifamo. I hope she is around here. You know, there are students who fail in a single paper, and then their work is to keep on just crying. How can No. We need to know how to rise up, test ourselves, and even combine that failed paper with something outside there, like CFFE. CFE is very, very good. The short courses we are talking about, if we are talking about short course at RCM, we have Advanced Excel, we have QuickBooks, we have, in this case here, Tally, we have ITAX. We are charging each one of them 1,000 Kenya shillings. And if you pay for a minimum of 3, you get to pay 2,700. For 3, actually, not minimum. If you pay for 3, you pay 2,700. Great. Who is a non-practicing member at ICPAK? Thank you very much, David. These I should be able to answer. You know, we have practicing and non-practicing members. Practicing members are the licensed members. Myself, I stayed as a non-practicing member of ICPAK for 11 years. 11 years. I'm a member, but an ordinary member. I'm not practicing. After that, now I was able to apply for an auditing license. So I became a practicing member. So David, I don't know whether I've answered you. Of course, you start by first of all entering as non-practicing. The practice comes later after experience. AFR and AFM, we are starting those classes on the 2nd of September. 2nd of September, please call our number 0719 525 000. 0719 525 000. 0719 525 000 for more inquiries. Yeah. Now, Macarius, we are starting this CFE from 2nd of September as well. I'll be able to give you the fees. I'll give you the fees. Can one do this CFE before? Yes, that I've answered. As a beginner, are you advising someone to start at ACCA first, then CPA? Then there is only one problem somewhere. I would advise you go to ACCA any day. But again, unfortunately, you get very many students in Africa here. Our typing speed is awful. If your typing speed is very, very bad, if you go to ACCA, you shall never pass even a single paper. If you know that your typing speed is very, very bad, you know, like ACCA, paper F7, which is financial reporting, they expect you to type the financial statements. You're typing everything, even workings like that. The only students who are able to ace that paper very, very easily are students who are very fast, students who have been using computers like all their lives. If that is not the case for you, someone, please first of all do CPA, get a computer, try practicing. After CPA, now the data analytics, go to ACCA and will pass all the ACCA papers. Is custody observation after BDA a must? If you have already experience, it's not a must. Actually, even students like now, I told you I have about 7 students here that I'm working with, that I'm mentoring at Aura and Co CPA, because they want to get licenses. 3 of them are basically post-BDA. And because I've stayed with them for a long time, now I'll be able to give them a license, not license, but a certificate, which in this case here will make them avoid this simulation They'll be able to avoid. They'll be able to save the 10,000 shillings that they would have paid to CASNEP. Just asking if one has done CPA. Yeah, so many exemptions, yes, so many exemptions. But then I should be able to handle, because I need to check something here, I should be able to give you a talk on how to transition from CPA to ACCA, most probably on Monday. We can organize. We can organize. Yeah. Once you have completed CPA, are there exemptions for master's classes? Yes, especially if you do your master's in the UK. If you do your master's in the UK with CPA, I mean, you'll do very few papers. You'll only be, for example, one of the papers we'll do is the thesis. Because you see in CPA now, you don't study research. So here at the thesis level, we'll expect you, of course, to learn referencing skills. How do you sample? All right. How do you write down your conceptual framework, literature review? Those are the things in this case that you must now be taught at master's level. Otherwise, like, you can't be taught accounting papers, finance papers. With CPA Kenya, abroad there, master's level, you will get so many exemptions. You'll get so many exemptions. Is CPA going to be recognized as a degree soon? That is something that we are really working on. There are institutions that have already recognized this as a degree. Like at RCM, if you look at the advert that we did, because now we are expanding, we are coming up with day programs, weekend-only programs, we wanted more teachers. You can see we said clearly, it is BCom or CPA. We don't take like CPA to be an added advantage. No. No. They're at the same level with a degree. And this has been passed by the government itself. The government itself. I know the degree students will complain that these things are not the same, but who are we? If the government, I mean, it's something that has been passed. You can see also in this case, here, students who have done higher national diploma from KMTC, now they are being taken as bachelor degree holders. All right. Degree holders. All right. Is it advisable to create a work relationship with a mentor? An example, the mentor has a consultancy firm. Is it okay to ask for some part-time work to help you gain experience in an area of interest and get something small with time? Yes, Braxton, we do this always. Like those that I mentor, I would expect you to work in my firm. Like the students I mentor who come to work in my firm, of course, under Job Madede, CPA Job Madede, so they work under him for them to be able to know how to prepare working schedules, the working papers. All right, they only volunteer, kind of, although we give some. I also don't like taking advantage of these young men and women where they come and work and then like you assume nothing is going and then you give them zero. No. No. We must give them, even if it's just bus fare, as they gain experience. And how I wish you guys can make RCM, not RCM, but Aura and Co. You know, most of the jobs that we get, really, we get them courtesy of our students. If all our students that we have would get out there and get us jobs, auditing, taxation, advisory jobs, all right, then we can easily make this like, a warehouse. We can have like a big hall where we can have like, we can accommodate like, say, 50, 100 students at once. All right, so we can, in this case here, teach, you know, like Prof was saying that, I disagree a little bit with her there, that there's an oversupply of accountants. I can't disagree more. If you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, we have very few accountants in Kenya. Very few. Two problems. Number one, very many accountants in this case here don't have the right skills. How come some of us, like myself here, I'm able to change jobs the way I wish? Actually, in most cases, we are headhunted by these international organizations. It's because of the skills that we have, my students. There are skills once you happen to be having them, like now what you saw Mwalimu doing here, I'm able to prepare dashboards. It doesn't matter how big data is. Even if you give me data today for breweries, I mean, I'll be able to do quite a lot and I'll be able to give you data, which is now highly summarized in the form of dashboards for now insights that you can now use to do what you have to make decisions, you know. So there is a problem with the skills. You know, you guys are not like us. During our time, we took work very seriously. We took our studies very seriously. I teach, ladies and gentlemen, At RCM, of course, I've taught here for so long. Students only come to wake up on the very, very last month is when they start, in this case, looking for the LM book, ACC, whatever books, AFM. It's not supposed to be like that. Because I don't want you to be passing with only 40 or 37%, and then you say you're an accountant. No, it's from the word go. We must put in 110% into our studies. Because like me, there are interviews I do at the CFO or CEO level, and then guys are left wondering, what kind of a person is this? Because when they ask me any question, for example, on corporate secretarial practice, I'm able to respond like a lawyer. I'll be able to tell them, like, this company, I'm looking at a company from 3 elements. Just like a human being, we have birth, then we have running of a company, then we have, in this case, a death. So I tell them, during birth, when you give me a job here, I'll be able to see, for example, the incorporation certificate, which makes, in this case, this company now to be independent, Solomon versus Solomon. After that, I'll be able to go straight away, for example, to how the company is run. In terms of ethics, of course, the company should be run by a board of directors, so which has a chairman, and of course, subcommittees. And then, of course, how our decision is made here is through force versus habitol. The majority will always win. All right? Documentations, death, or even when we're running this company, it may reach a time where people cannot see eye to eye. And yet company operations must continue. The case of Sharp versus Dowes. How comes I'm able to remember those things and I did them long time ago and I've never taught them? It's because I went to classes and I was able to put in 110%. So it will be very important as I mentor you guys, please be very serious with your studies. Attend your classes from day one. Like now we are opening on the second. On the second, I expect to see all of you in classes. I expect to see all of you in classes. All right. I would like to pursue CTA. How do I go about this? So that one, just talk to me, Kipto, later on WhatsApp. I'll be able to advise. International Business Management, IBM, a good place to... I've never heard of IBM as a university or something. Yeah, the public speaking needs to kick off, yes. Needs to kick off. Great, great. Will be great. Thank you very much. Consider offering a CFA class at RCM. Thank you, George. I'm becoming too personal. We shall overcome. Qualifications of being an ICPAK associate member. Once you just clear your CPA without any experience, and then you register at ICPAK, you will be a CPA K, but associate. 3 months. CFE, 3 months. With public speaking, and it has really costed me jobs. So far, you can see early CS. We need to correct that. We have to correct this. I can listen to myself, record Teams meetings. Great. Thank you so much. So I think we have really, ACC no longer gives 9 exemptions for, yeah, that's why Abdi asked, I check something small, and then I should be able to organize a session where I talk about ACC alone. Public speaking classes, ready to join, great. Advisor to create the work, okay. Great. With applying for help, remember now CASNEB and HELP, they have been able to recognize RCM. So Ruth, you need to go and just select RCM. Under those institutions, you're supposed to select RCM. And the moment you select RCM, the moment you put in your application, then we will only tell you to pay us 2,000 bob. Only, even if you're doing 4 units with us. The moment your application to help is successful, then you will be able to study now as you wait for disbursement of that money to the school. So Ruth, that's something you can pick by the side. Which college offers CFE? Sharon, it is us. Who else, Sharon? Enroll for this CFE, yes. Great. 7 years experience in the workplace and 2 years non-practicing member. Now I can be able to apply. Yes, David, if you have enough experience as an auditor, for example, or as a tax practitioner, you are eligible now. You can become a practicing member. Caroline, I can see self-study. Please, self-study is never the very best. One of the reasons why we have so many ICPAK or even CPA members crying outside here, it's because most of you chose the self-study route. You know, when you talk of self-study, what does it mean? You can easily cram these things and you pass. When teachers teach, we give more than what is in the syllabus. There is mentorship that comes along. You also become part of a community. And that is why I don't feel very happy when I see somebody, AFM, left the group. Why should you leave a group? Those groups, I mean, their groups are maintained over 10 years. Just be there. You can mute the group. In the future, when you need it for networking, you'll have it coming up. You get an international certificate, Janet. You get an international certificate. The workshops, of course, they are one day thing. You're done. We'll have 2 degrees, yes. Before finishing your CPA, you can't become an associate member. Accounts, you know, ICPAK can't register degree graduates. There is quite a whole difference between CPA and what we teach in BCom. Quite a big difference. And I'm not underrating them. I've taught at JQuat, I've taught at Daystar, I've taught at Kabarak University here. You know, at degree level, you know, somebody can come and give you like 4 or 5 chapters and they tell you, and he examines himself. He's the one who is testing everything and marking. You know that, I mean, when you now come and get like Aura, Dr. Aura is teaching you here, but the examiner is different, the marker is different. That brings a whole world of difference. That's why you can see like Dr. Nancy here. Yeah, she's now doing her CPA. And she has done all those BComs, Masters, MBAs, but still, she'll tell you that CPA is heavy. It's heavy. So even you, when you become like CEO ICPAK, you can't give BCom graduates licenses to practice. And of course, BCom has also its own advantages. It has its own advantages because now those guys can do research. But trust me, in terms of practicing accounts, if you're given a license today, it will be a disaster. You may not like what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you the truth. If you're given if you come with a master's or even a BCom itself, and then you're given a license, but now audit, what amount of auditing do you know with a BCom? And maybe you did it just as one unit. You know, BCom or any bachelor's, you are being given the powers to study. All right? That's why you need now to come and do this like lawyers. Like now lawyers can't be given like a legal practicing license. They still have to go to the Kenya School of Law. I hope I've answered that question. Andrew, university graduates know I only consider CPA. CPA, especially after BDA, I'm interested in giving them internship. Yeah, because I would want them to get, in this case here, I mean, the license, you know. And again, they're coming in when they know like those audit procedures, substantive tests, test of controls. So it becomes very easy for me to train them. It becomes very easy for me to train them. So most accounting jobs require both bachelor's and CPA qualification. Just check. Yes, but this is changing pretty fast, Caroline. It's changing pretty fast. And CPA, that will change. That will change. Not working, I would love to volunteer. Yeah, Alice, please talk to me. I hope, Alice, you have my number. Or is it accounting related? Best you'll overcome. That's sad. So Langat, we have these trainings on audit and bookkeeping. Please, you'll see adverts. You'll see adverts. If you want these practical trainings on audit, practical trainings on bookkeeping, you know, this, number one, don't come for the practical auditing, practical bookkeeping courses. If, for example, you are at the intermediate level, or if you're in part 1, those are courses we offer to part 3 students, and preferably, actually, if you have finished BDA, all right? And then you want to know now the practical bookkeeping. Then you shall be able to swing in and ensure that you know a lot of bookkeeping, financial reporting in 3 months. It's a 3 months course, all right? And it's only weekend only, all right? With a lot of work here. And remember, these practical accounting, practical auditing courses here, They are blended. 70% online, and then 30% will come to our offices. 30% will come to our offices. Why? Because, of course, we can't send you documents of our clients all over, because you become like our interns. That is why, for practical accounting and practical audit, we are giving 2 certificates from RCM College, certificate of completion. And then Aura and the course certified public accountants, we give you a recommendation letter, like an internship letter. You have interned with us. You have interned with us. All right. So it's 70% virtual, 30% physical. So if you know that, for example, now we have students in Southern Sudan, students in Uganda here, then you should not attend because you can't come to offices even in a single day. Some sessions will be done from the office. It is 70% virtual, 30% practical. I said I will be able to go up to 11, but now I'm tired and now hungry. You can't do advanced level and BDA. BDA is an exit paper. Abraham, you can register for your advanced level papers as you wait for intermediate level. Should you fail, God forbid, then of course you transfer that money to these lower level papers. But God forbid, you will not fail. How much do you pay? 2,000 bob, 2,000 bob. But don't go for that route. Vincent, I should be able to handle this with you. The moment you've done this practical bookkeeping and practical auditing course with us, you should not go for associate member. No, that's too low. You're only associated, you're not a member. I need my students here to be full members, and I'll be able to tell you how. Accountants need public speaking courses, yes. Great. Yeah, public speaking should be a must for all RCM students. This will help us. Those who passed advanced level before introduction of BDA apply for ICPAK number, or they must sit. Frederick, if you passed advanced level before introduction of BDA, no, you not sit for BDA. You'll apply for ICPAK number directly. But Frederick, if I were you, I would simply talk to CASNEB. They know your status. Talk to CASNEB. Of course, if they gave you like the final certificate, if they've given you the final certificate, then you should be able to work to CASNEB, to ICPAK, with that certificate and register. International business management, okay, or as a degree maybe from USIU, IBM. I will not recommend that degree. No, no, no. For the CFE, yes. Yeah, it's a bit details here. Me too, with masters, but CPA exams are heavier. Yeah, even the internships, there are people who are, like now this lady called Esther, she's in an finance role. And now she should want to get finance experience. What do? Then we have classes for them over the weekends. There are classes stroke internships. Because, once you come over there, we will have you do some donkey work. You'll hate it a little bit. This donkey work is which one here, for example, you'll do some data entry. Then from there, we see how you're extracting management accounts. From maybe it's QuickBooks or Tally. From there, now we take you to the final accounts from the trial balance. All right, within a week or 2, you should be able to do that. And then if you're given, in this case, your final reports, then how do you audit? What do you need? All right, how do you prepare an audit plan, audit strategy? Now, practically, how do you start, in this case, organizing physical files for your clients? How do you do that in a computerized environment? The moment you finish that, then we'll be good to go. International disaster. I'm engaged in a different field, but studying CPA, no problem. So long as you're, like myself, I did a degree in civil engineering. All right. And now I'm a member of ICPAK. When you start doing CPA, of course, those things are building on each other. You'll get yourself in BTA. So no problem there. IPARA, no problem there. Oh, so Kenya recommended me to join this college. I've gained a lot and will never regret. I therefore will refer my workmates. Wow, great. I never knew Somia Kenya is recommending people here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, the offer of advanced Excel is ongoing. It's ending tomorrow. It's ending actually, is it today or tomorrow? The class is beginning tomorrow at night. Tomorrow at night or 6 p.m. I haven't looked at my timetable, but the class is beginning tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I would beg to disappear. Otherwise, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure hosting all of you. And really, I'm so sure my guest was impressed by the numbers. Would you want us to have this mentorship like permanent sessions at RCM, for example, we say like fortnightly? We are bringing, for example, I would want to bring the CEO help. I would want to bring even the CEO CASNEP. I would want to bring industry captains. You given my network, I'm able to bring those people. Do you think they'll add value? Will we be able to get numbers to come and listen to these guests? Yes, Nancy, you're right. The internship, okay, great. We shall overcome. Big job asking for ICPAK number. So ICPAK, of course, there is a problem at the moment. As our guest told us, they don't have, in this case, a committee to approve new accountants. So I don't know what we can do with this big, great job. Perhaps, Lydia, we can be open to them. We can be open to them. You come through us, we write a very good letter, you are our student, and now we have this small problem at ICPAK, but it's being resolved. And then we attach every other information. You'll be surprised that can open doors. Yeah, we don't work on Saturdays. Our staff don't work on Saturdays, but whenever we have a cohort of students who are on internship, we organize the office to be open on Saturday and Sunday for guidance to happen. Tally is more or less like QB, QuickBooks, but it's big on manufacturing accounts, those costing, yeah? It's big on inventory, very good system, very good system. I would want to disappear. I would want to disappear. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. We shall overcome. And I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in my short courses tomorrow. All of you. All of you. And of course, for the practical accounting and practical auditing, you'll also be able to get more information. Please call our numbers 0719 525 000. 0719 525 000. Bye. Good night. Good night. Bye.